I'll start back when it started, really, for me. I was at a networking meeting in November of 2006, a Network Plus meeting. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's not a women's group, it's actually men and women. And this particular meeting was in Parsippany, and it was about 30 men and 2 women, myself and another woman who I became friendly with. And I was sitting at the end of the table next to the facilitator, and he said, everybody go around the room and do your 30-second commercial, and after you introduce yourself, stop and tell everybody what you would do if you could stop everything in your life for 1 year and accomplish one task. And I thought, what a great question. So as they were going around the room, I really didn't even hear anybody else's answer because I thought, wow, someone's giving me a year off. I'm self-employed, I have 3 kids of my own. I really don't have a lot of time, and I thought, that's really interesting, and I want to give a good answer. So as they went around the room and then they got to me, I don't know where it came from, but out of my mouth came, I would run a marathon. And everybody started saying, ooh, that's really amazing, a marathon. And I thought, yeah, who said that? Why did I say that? But the truth is, I always thought it was really amazing when someone took on the task of, or the feat of, running 26.2 miles. And lest you forget the 0.2 miles, because when you go 26 miles, those last 0.2 of a mile are a long way. And so I didn't think anything of it. I went home, and about a week later, I'm opening my mail at 6 o'clock at night, and I get a card from a group called Team in Training, and they're part of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and it said, run a marathon in memory or honor of someone you love, and do it for charity, and we'll help you, we'll give you mentoring and coaching. And I thought, who's watching me? Why is this coming to me now? Someone's telling me to run a marathon. So I went to the meeting, and the long and short of it is, Thanksgiving of 2006, I signed up to run my first marathon for Team in Training in memory of my father, who died in 1985 at the age of 51 from a blood cancer, non-Hodgkin lymphoma. And he died before I ever got married, so he never walked me down the aisle. He never met my children. And I have a hard time not crying about that. Sorry. So I went on my journey, and I thought, I'm doing something really good, and thinking, I never did a charitable act before, and this is cool, I'll get in shape, I'll lose a few pounds, and I'll give back. But what I got back was a profound lesson that giving of yourself in memory of someone that you love is magic. Like you said, I found the Holy Grail. I was running, I was hurting, I was schlepping, I was really in pain, doing these training runs every weekend, and I actually got injured 3/4 of the way into my training. About a month before, I hurt my hip, and I was told to stop running after I ran my 20-miler, and I thought, oh, okay. And then 2 weeks before my full marathon, I'm like, okay, I'm going to Brooklyn to run a half, and if I can run the half, 13 miles, I'm cool for the full in 2 weeks, and this is for Dad. And I'm from Brooklyn, my dad's from Brooklyn, and it's a beautiful day, and I'm looking up at the sky, and I'm like, Dad, this is for you. I'm feeling great, my hip is good, I'm gonna run this marathon. I'm in Coney Island. I was a kid in Coney Island when I was little. I run down the boardwalk, and a half mile into it, I had the worst pain in my hip. I'd given birth to 3 kids. This made that pale in comparison. I was like, oh my God, I broke my hip. I pulled over, and I'm standing on the side of the boardwalk in Coney Island, and they're all passing me. 80-year-old people are passing me. And I look up to the sky, I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? I start crying. My teammates come over. Lori, what's the matter? I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I can do this. My hip, I can't walk. And they left me, and I'm crying, and I'm thinking, if I can't do this half, and I have to go sit at the van and wait for everybody, I'm not running this marathon. I raised $4,500 in memory of my father. This is for my dad, this is a tribute, and just then, a lady starts running past me, a big, blonde lady, like ponytail and Amazon lady, and she starts yelling at me. She's like, "You keep going, you don't stop, it'll go away." Tony Robbins talks about breaking, your mood and like doing something physical. And like this lady was like, "Okay, lady, I stopped crying, and I thought, I don't know how many of you are Jewish, but I'm Jewish, and I thought, okay, I got to start praying because this is really hurting, and I'm hopping. I can't even put pressure on my left leg. So I thought, English isn't going to do it. I got to do Hebrew. And I'm like, okay, I know the Hanukkah lighting candle, but Hanukkah lighting, that doesn't work. Shabbat candles, I know that one. I'm not very religious. At the time, I ate cheeseburgers with the best of you. So I'm running, and I'm like, the Shema. I don't know what it means, but sounds good. The Lord is one. So I start doing this mantra, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. I couldn't cover my eyes. You're supposed to cover your eyes. So I have to see where I'm going. So I head down the boardwalk, and all of a sudden, the pain leaves my hip and he lands in my left thigh.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, ooh, I can move. I'm like, this is working, Shema Yisrael. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. And it's Saturday morning, which is the Shabbat, which is holy. And I'm in Brooklyn, in the Hasidic neighborhood of Brooklyn. And these rabbis with long beards are heading to shul. And I'm like, cool. I'll imagine they're in shul praying with me, and like we're praying together. Hi, Israel, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and all of a sudden I see mile 3, they have mile markers. Mile 3, mile 4, mile 5, mile 6. How am I doing this? Like, I don't know, I'm in pain, but I don't feel it anymore. I get to mile 8, and I don't know if you've ever run an organized race, but they have Gatorade and water, and they have this whole table set up, and you've done this.
Yeah,
Okay.
you grab it.
So I'm like, I gotta take a break. So I schlep over, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get my Gatorade. And as I reach for the Gatorade, I see this guy making a beeline down the water table, behind the water table. And I'm like, who is he? He looks like my Jewish uncle, who is that guy? And as I lift my glass, he gets in my face, points at me, dead eye contact, and he's like, I want you to know I'm watching your every move. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, thank you. Like, something's going on here. I'm like, I'm onto something. So, long and short of it is I ran into Prospect Park. I finished 13 miles on, I thought, a broken hip. When I crossed the finish line, I broke down crying and literally could not walk. And I was like hopping, and the coach was there, and he's like, what happened to you? And I'm like, a miracle. I just experienced a miracle. And in 2 weeks, I had that marathon. You try to stop me. I'm doing this for my father. When I got home, my husband looks at me and says, what happened to you? You're not running a marathon. I'm like, you just try to stop me. And so I went the next day. I had read The Secret. Remember The Secret? It's not a secret anymore, but I went to my office. I took 2 of my kids there, and it had something about vision boards, which I had never done before. I thought, I need help. So I went online, and I cut out the winner of the last year's New Jersey Marathon. That was the marathon I was running. And I superimposed myself over the winner, and I carried this poster around with me everywhere I went. I went for acupuncture, and I went for massage therapy, and I had the acupuncturist actually hooked me up to electrodes and electrocuted. You know that was how you actually. She had smoke coming out of my leg. This is good. But I healed and I ran the marathon, but at mile 20 of that 26.2 miles, I met up with the waterman. He hands me the cup and I'm like, okay, this hurts. And he laughed at me and he said, you're almost done. I said, are you kidding me? I have 6.2 miles to go. And then I realized, I looked up at the sky and I said, I don't have anything left. Everything hurt, my hair hurts. And I said, I'm doing this for you. Nothing is gonna stop me. And I went the distance. I'm sorry. I'm telling you, this is a source of joy, and I'm standing here crying. I did something I never thought I could do. I'm 53. At the time, I was 49, so I was a kid. But I'll tell you, I crossed that finish line, and I'm like, I did it. But I wasn't running on Gatorade or water or Cliff Blocks or whatever they give you to try to keep you going. I was running on love, and that's where this came from. So I got completely addicted, and I ran 4 marathons in 18 months.
Oh my God.
And I gotta tell you, they don't get easier. Especially if you're getting older, so they get longer. 26.2 miles, you know, it's sort of like money was in the 70s, you know, $100 was worth a lot more money back in the 70s. Well, 26.2 miles, you add a year on your life every year, you add a mile. So it might be an ultra marathon. And every time I ran them, I'd get to mile 7 or 8 and I'm like, I don't like cursing much, but I start cursing. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, what are you doing, Lord? Why are you doing this to your body? And then I finish and I'm like, look what I did. I can't believe I did this. And I tried to figure out who could I honor in the next run, you know? So I honored my mother-in-law and father-in-law, who I love. And all these magical things started happening. Things would show up, you know, coincidences that were not coincidences, miracles. My daughter, who had been suffering 5 years of Crohn's disease, and I was told it was a lifelong sentence. She had major surgery, a bowel resection, terrible as a kid. I get a call after my first marathon that she never had Crohn's disease. She can come off all medication and she's completely normal. Like things like that. Coincidence. All right? Wow. So what I'm telling you is I can't promise you miracles, but I can promise you you will do something really extraordinary for a good cause of your own choosing. If you pick a marathon, you don't have to do it for Running on Love. Running on Love, you know, I help you do this and you can send money anywhere you want. But the magic is love. Do it for love. You know, there's lots of causes out there. There's, you know, people doing 5Ks for pancreatic cancer and, you know, educational funds and this fund and that fund. But do it for love, because that's the juice that's going to get you to the finish line. You know, you think you can't, but you can. Because the truth is, love is the reason that we get up out of bed in the morning. You know, we all have problems and we all have grief and we all have troubles. And sometimes honestly, I've seen sunny days that I wanted to end. You know, like the song, Fire and Rain. Right. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've been there. How do I get out of bed? And it's love. That's the juice that makes you put one foot in front of the other and in forward motion. And marathon running, whether it's a 5K or a full marathon, when you run, when you walk, when you do physical action, the thing that moves you forward is purpose, is love, it's devotion. And attaching it to charity is magic. So I found Kool-Aid, and if anybody wants to drink it with me, I have a gift for you. I have these little Running on Love bracelets that my daughter designed. She's a cute little designer. They're Running on Love, and it says give love and touch lives, because that's really what it's all about. Give it away. And you can't give till it hurts. You give till it feels great. And I honestly used to be the kind of person, you'd be in the supermarket and the cashier's asking you for muscular dystrophy. You get outside and the Girl Scouts are there, and the boots are there from the fire department, and look, and give me money, and you get desensitized. It's like, all right already, you know, stop asking. But I have a whole different attitude now. Now it's like, let me go back inside. I don't have $1 on me. How do I, you know, if it's important enough for this person from the Salvation Army to stand out there in the bitter cold and ring a bell, give them $1, you know? I thought the other day that I might, you know, name a charity, just shut up and give. I mean, I don't mean to be nasty about it, but you know, it's like, just do it. It'll feel good. Like, eventually, it'll feel good. And that's it. So, anybody have questions?